Welcome to the Let's Get Heavy podcast, where we explore the realms of heavy music and have conversations with some of the most talented bands within the genre. In this episode, I get a chat with Morgan and James from the band Moonreaper to discuss their newly awaited EP and what is in store for the rest of 2024. So let's get heavy. Morgan, thank you very much for giving up your Sunday evening to chat with us at Get Heavy UK. Very looking forward to it. It's been well overdue because we tried to arrange this at Bloodstock last year, isn't that right, James?
Who would have known that going onto a festival with loads of people would mean that your signal would go out? I mean, certainly not.
Who would know? Being in the middle of the field, eh?
Nah, it's almost like I'm a novice at these festival things, almost.
Oh, absolutely brilliant. But we're here now. That's the main thing. So, just a little bit of backstory, just for anyone who's watching this back later on YouTube who don't know who Moonreaper is. Can we have a little bit of an origins on the band? So, how did Moonreaper form?
So in 2018, I was in university studying music, and for one of the projects, I wanted a doom metal band for one of my assessments because I loved doom in 2018. I was very much into doom. It was my thing. So I recruited a couple of followers for my mission. And then that kind of dragged on, and I was like, you know what? This is fun. I want to keep doing this. Then COVID, and unfortunately, those two members from the university had other stuff going on at home. You know, didn't want to leave the house, understandably. Then I picked up Aidan in 2020, the bassist. And then I picked up James in 2021, I think it was 21. It was a year later.
I just love that the Moonreaper's origin is literally, it's like a bus ride. It's like
you're
raging through. You've picked up a bassist, you've picked a drummer up, then you've just dragged up somebody else as well. We're just on it for the ride. That's what it is.
It is a bus is a good analogy of just kind of gradually. We'll have a violinist next year or some shit like that.
We'll be like High Lung in like 20 years with about 40 members and a whole like scene. Like that's the plan.
Full fucking orchestra of people. I've just. How about you join today?
So you picked up James, and who was after James?
So James, and then Sharon, who is also my fiance, joined in 22 in the autumn, and then we got Jared at the beginning of last year. So we've had a couple of other members since then, but those are the only ones that I'm going to talk about today, I guess. So yeah, the origin is about 6 years ago now. So we're getting on as a band.
This is the longest lineup, solid, stayed true together for quite some time now, since beginning of 2023.
Yeah, well, I'm not sick of any of them yet, so we'll see how it goes.
I think so. There's been almost like a couple of different phases to Moonreaper, right? So there was before the first EP, which is with Morgan in university. Then there was the Descent EP, which was two other members. Aidan was on that one. This is what I think is the most polished version Moonreaper has ever been. This is the point where we're writing songs to a high level. Our live shows are getting to a point of where we're really proud of what we're doing. This is getting to where it is on a whole new level to what it's been since its inception. And that is due to the members, not to blow my own trumpet, but it's due to the gelling we've managed to get together. We're writing together in a very different way. And also, like, it's odd, but we actually get on as well. Like we're friends as well. It's wild.
Who would have thought?
I know.
Morgan seems a bit different.
Sometimes
I'd say when drum machines come in, then my friendship will fade away. But until then, I'm kind of useful.
Yeah.
A little bit, and I've got a nice car that drives.
It must be a worrying time though, James, to know that he can be replaced by a space bar. Tell us I'm wrong, Morgan.
All of the drum parts are written in Logic when we write them anyway, and I'm just learning them, and I'm sort of sitting there when we write them, going like, I'm never going to get these 100%. They're never going to sound as good as they do by this fucking machine that can play everything on point. I'm just like, I just have to make it look really good as well. As soon as AI develops where they can just have this hefty deathcore drummer with like muscles coming out of every orifice and just goes, then I'm fucked. That's it. I'm done. Like, you'll never see me work again.
Give it 2 years. The way AI is going at the minute, give it 2 years. 2 years.
I mean, I think people like the aesthetic of having the drummer. You know, whether it can be replaced by a space bar is irrelevant. They want to see someone get sweaty and also never see them because there's symbols in front of their face. That's important.
To be fair, right? If there's no drummers, who do the band bully and who do the women refuse to have sex with? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's it. We serve a purpose in the band.
How can you argue with that? You can't really argue with that. So the name Moon Reaper, quite a striking name. What's the story behind it?
The Moon Reaper as a concept is a metaphor for a black hole, as in the one who reaps moons, perhaps the one who devours moons. There are a couple of what I like to think of practice names before Moon Reaper was decided upon, one of which was Sun Eater and the other was Earth Crusher. So we're going with the kind of same syllable kind of vibe. There are lots of bands with these there are many bands called Sun Eater, by the way, which is why we didn't land on that. Like Soul Shredder from last night. They have lots of these type of 3-syllable with an on the end. I really like that. Anyway, black holes, very much into space and stuff, and I really like writing about it, especially in the lyrics that I'm putting into the songs. So that's where it comes from, and I'm still happy with it. It's not like Foo Fighters where they began to hate it after about 5 years. Like, I'm still with it.
So is that more of a hobby side of things, like just like the space, or is that something that you've done at university as well?
Not uni, but during lockdown, I did an astrophysics diploma in my spare time because I wanted to learn a bit more about space, and I got a couple of cool books. I've seen a couple of good documentaries about it. I got my diploma, so I know a fair amount, and it's good material. It's good
I was just about to say, did those books help with any of the songwriting, names, etc.? Nice.
Yeah, dude. I've got like a cosmology. I'm looking at it right now. Cosmology, like quick guide to all of the little terms and stuff. And there's some really interesting stuff in there. And I just love space. It's so vast and gloomy and expansive, and so many malevolence and crazy things that you will never ever see. And I love writing about that stuff.
It's quite a cool niche to be in for us, right? Because you look at metal in general, there are obviously, you've got your death, you've got your all sorts of things where like a lot of aspects of certain genres or certain subjects have been almost played out massively. Like, no one is going to do grotesque murder death metal like Cannibal Corpse or Dying Feet. Like, we're at the apex. So for us, it's like we still want to share and put across the brutality what we do, but we now find that we can actually articulate that and it can resonate, but we're coming from a completely different angle and going, well, actually, no, we're going, look up there, and actually there is, you can reflect all the feelings that most metalheads feel, but we're just putting in a completely different perspective, and it gives us a nice way to be able to put a lot of purpose behind the songs and still just have them just crush people, but we're just crushing people down like this rather than up from us, you know what I mean? So like,
well, I think it's a bit less direct than like, I'm coming to murder you and your family. More like the entire world will be obliterated in a second. So I think for me it's even heavier. That's the key. The key to heaviness isn't about murderers, dude. It's about black holes.
Free of guilt, because now we're not responsible. It's if you get crushed, it's got nothing to do with me. All right.
It makes people think as well, though, because you can't, like you just said before, you just songs about, especially the modern day like death metal and deathcore. Literally, it's all about songs about murdering people. You're adding a completely different element with space and stuff, and so it makes people think, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit more mystical, and it's got a bit like more depth to it, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly.
I think for us as well, like I remember, I don't know if Morgan does. I remember growing up watching, sort of Headbangers Journey, and and obviously when I was younger, it was the metal was the Neanderthals genre, right?
Yeah, that's right.
We like putting on the pedestal. Actually, you know as well as we do that actually there are a vast amount of intelligent people that listen to heavy metal, and I would argue some of the most intelligent people I know listen to some of the most disturbing music I've heard in my life. So we like to, you know, seek those people out as well. And actually, you know, yes, I can play music where I'm going to get people spin kicking harder than I've ever seen during a set, but I can also sit down and have an intellectual conversation to you, because we like to appreciate there's more to people than you're not one thing, right? You're not just a metalhead or just an intellectual or just whatever. We're all human beings, and we just want to share it and be authentic in what we do.
Couldn't agree more, James. Couldn't agree more. Especially with the amount of people that's intelligent. I mean, look at Dee Schneider. If you can go back to the 80s with the whole PMRC and
oh, that is my favorite bit of that documentary. That is the greatest thing ever.
Courts just weren't ready for him.
Yeah,
Thinking just because he's a greasy metalhead, just, you know, throwing questions at him and stuff like that, and he just came out with all this intelligence and stuff like that, and just completely tore them apart.
but I know Morgan's really into his like doom, like stuff like End, and like when I first was like listening to it, like, well, not doom, black, whatever you want to call it, you've got your, but like, you know, like these bands are not just, and even say like some black metal as well, it's not just screech, like what some people will call it, which is just like in order that's screeching. There's meaning behind it. And I've actually since joining the band really got into sort of more introverted black metal and stuff like that, because I'm now seeing those things myself that I didn't initially see, because I come from a death metal and a deathcore background. That's what I've listened to like a lot when I was growing up. But now I'm listening to stuff like Cisvane is one of the bands, or Kissvane is one of the bands I picked up when we went to Heavy Fest. It's really emotionally driven black metal, and it's just like, you know, it's great to find more facets to metal myself, as well as being able to provide our own.
Nice. That sounds absolutely well. 2023 seemed to have been an absolutely amazing year for the band. You won Metal to the Masses in your area. Went on to play Bloodstock, which was absolutely fantastic. What was your overall experience like for the band to play Bloodstock?
For the whole band, I can imagine we had quite different experiences. We weren't all in the same place at the same time, so there was a lot of people running off to do different things. I would say, in a couple of words, it's very overwhelming, but it's ecstatic at the same time, because having been to Bloodstock a couple of times before, and Aidan, our bassist, has been many times before, you're used to the routine of getting up, having a couple of beers, get some grub, go watch some metal for like 12 hours, have a beer, and then do the same thing the next day. But you're flipping between seeing your friends and seeing bands. So you just have these kind of two primary focuses. But all of a sudden, we've now got an invested business interest in being a Bloodstock, with networking with people like yourself and other media people, you know, in the kind of VIP area. And then there's the day you play, and you have to make sure you're all warmed up, and you've got to be a certain place, certain time. So there's lots of kind of rushing around, trying to hit all of the points, especially on the day that you're playing. Because we had, I don't know how many interviews, maybe 10 interviews in the morning, because we just crammed them all in one day. We were like, fuck it, let's just do it all in the morning, go play in the afternoon, and then party in the evening. And we did manage to do it, you know, but it's a lot to process, and it's a lot to plan out to the minute, because you're like, fucking hell, I've got 10 minutes to get from this band I want to see, this interview I want to do, and then I've got to go, you know, got to go get my shit together, because we're going to go play in the next hour or something. So
that's insane, isn't it? Did anything surprise you about the competition or the Bloodstock Festival itself?
Competition?
Well,
what, in Metal to the Masses?
So the Metal to the Masses, and then getting to Bloodstock.
I mean, the big surprise is that we won. That's the biggest. Other than that, I think it was a surprise how nice the whole thing was. It was very amicable and very friendly, and it was not at all competitive or kind of. There was no hostility or anything near to it, and I didn't expect there to be, but it's very uplifting simply to be a part of the competition, let alone, you know, of like winning it. So yeah, I'd say for me that was surprising. And also at Bloodstock, the media tent, there's just people all over the place. There's not like a one-way system or anything. It's just free for all. So you gotta get in there.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Wow. I'm yet to get backstage in the VIP for any of the media stuff or anything like that. So hopefully one day, maybe it's for 2025.
One day.
Maybe it's one day
Yeah.
for 2025. But that'd be pretty sick. Did you get to meet anybody? Any other bands backstage?
James,
Yeah,
you
so-
got to meet.
Me and Jared made a point of we sort of had different because Morgan and Aiden have been to Bloodstock many times. It was actually my first festival, so you say surprising for me. I mean, firstly, you know, trying to adapt to camping lifestyle, having never done it, was an interesting one. I certainly remember phoning up Morgan in a in a tent shop going, what am I buying? Is this big enough? Am I going to survive? What do I need? And he's just there like, dude, chill. Subsequently bought a £300 6-man tent and was ridiculed for the rest of the festival weekend for bringing it. But, you know,
Can
listen,
I just
enjoy
make
my
it clear? It was just him staying in this tent. There was no one else. Not like we all fucking piled in there. It's
No.
just him.
I valued my space and I valued my comfort, maybe a bit too much, but then I'd never done it, right? So, and for someone who's never done it, it can be a daunting experience because you're going, for us, it's 2.5 hours away and you really want to make the weekend worth it. You're not going to go up, play and come back. That would be not if you're getting a weekend pass. So it was, and there's so much prep, like you get sent a big document and it has to be in order. You want to make sure you know what you're doing. So as Morgan said, it's weighing up the admin and having fun. But yeah, me and Jared on that token then wanted to, if we're going to see these people, we're going to see these people. So Jared actually spent the most of the festival hanging out with was it pest control? He just buddied up to pest control the whole festival and was just like, he'd disappear for a couple of hours and be like, oh, you just want to go see my mates in pest control over by the burger vet. I was like, what do you mean you just went to go see your mates in pest control? Couple of highlights though for definite. Jesse from Kill Switch we managed to catch. It was
Nice.
That was like try not to give away the fact you've listened to him since you were 13 because he's kind of busy. Do you know what I mean? The guys from Earn, Joe and Angus, we met. They were lovely as Mel. I got to get Aiden to meet Shane from Napalm Death, and Aiden's a huge Napalm Death. I literally sprinted across site, grabbed him, and dragged him. I said, "You're meeting Shane." The first thing he asked him, he goes, "Lovely to meet you, Shane. I really enjoyed your book." And I'm like, "This is Shane from fucking Napalm Death. What are you doing? What do you mean you really enjoyed this fucking book?"
Maybe that's what Shane wanted to hear. He had enough of the grindcore. He was
Yeah,
like,
okay.
I want someone to read my
Well,
book.
we're talking about intellects. Yeah, Shane clearly wants to talk about literature. That's what anyone who writes stuff like you suffer only wants to talk about. Like, you know. Yeah, and I met Thomas from Sugar, but it was also meeting the people that make Bloodstock was almost as inspiring as the actual band. So meeting people like Animal, the drum tech from the New Blood, and Mark, and I forget some of the other people's names, but they definitely know who they are. They're the people that make and break that festival. And, you know, like, it was honestly quite awe-inspiring to see these people that have been there for years and they made the experience everything it was. And you feel like absolute kings. You have people taking your gear on off stage. You feel like rock stars to like, and it's just like, yeah, it was incredible, really. All of that encompassed, yeah.
This is one of the reasons why that festival will always hold a special place in my heart. It's literally, even the organizers and the fans, it's just one massive family at the end of the day. And while you guys were there as well, did anyone give you like any advice on any like future anything like?
Yeah, so we had some great times catching up with. That's the amazing thing about this scene and about Bloodstock in general, right? Is that nobody is out there and being like, "Oh, you shouldn't be there." Like everyone, as soon as you get to that point, or even if you're just on site as a fan, they all accept everyone is there for the same reason, and everyone's there for the betterment of whatever. So we've spoken to people like the guys in Broken Jaw. We had a great chat with. We spent a lot of time with the guys from Street Soldier, who are like obviously now going on tour with Party Cannon and Pint Glass, which if you're not going to that show, this is the call out. Go and see Party Cannon, Street Soldier and Pint Glass. You might not recover afterwards, but you will enjoy yourself. Okay. And they're just really nice because obviously they've gone all around the country and they're just like being, you know, giving us advice on you could try this or you could try this. But, you know, the genuine, I think the thing that came across the most from everyone we spoke to, I don't know about Morgan, was that actually if you're genuine and you're just a human being, most bands that are genuine and honest and authentic, you know, the people that run Adam, Vicky and Simon run an amazing festival for a reason because they fucking know what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, and if you're authentic, we met Simon yesterday, in fact, and he is the nicest fucking guy I've ever met in my life. And he's just real. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want like his balls cradle. He doesn't need smoke blown up his ass because he's just a fucking dude who wants to listen to some metal. And you know, we were like saying, "Oh, would you want a shirt for his person?" I was like, "No, I don't need your shirt. I just want you guys to do well." And it's the genuine aspect that what makes Bloodstock, the competition and the festival, like incredible. Like that's what I took away from it. I don't know about Morgan. That's definitely what I took away from it. Though.
Nice. That's quite that experience is going to be with you.
Oh, 100%. That's the
for the rest of your life.
I'll tell Mike, even if I never go back, and that's the sort of things where I'll get asked, "What did you do when you were?" So I played this fucking festival that these huge bands played with. I was on that bill. I have I've got the festival show, my name on it. That will be with me for the, you know, I've still got my wristband and my car pass. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I've played this as a performer. I was invited to be there. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it's only, some people might say, well, it's only the New Blood. And I go, no, you look at any other major event, right? That's their third stage, right? So if you don't want to watch what's on Sophie, you don't want to watch what's on the main stage. Number of times I ended up just drifting into the New Blood tent. It's a stage within its own right. And actually, a lot of people will go and check out a lot of bands there. And and the amount of bands that now play on the Sophie or the main stage that have also come through that process speaks for itself. So
yep,
it's not a case of it doing just the New Blood stage. It is actually the unique in its sense that it is a gateway for a lot of bands to get to that point and to get the exposure that they rightfully deserve.
100%. Raised by Owls are prime example
Mm-hmm.
of that. They won Metal to the Masses, played Sophie stage back in 2021, and this year they're returning and they're playing main stage.
Our friends in Embodiment as well. Obviously, one years ago they played Sophie last year. We've had many friends that have played.
Bleed from Within, another prime example. So yeah, 100%. Yeah, can't agree more. So how do you think winning Bloodstock Metal to the Masses will impact Moonreaper's future?
How did it impact?
Well, just going forward, how do you feel it will impact forward?
So that's a good question. You know, when you're a small band, you're constantly making these small steps, right? You go and play a show, you get some more fans, you sell some merch, and you spread your message, you spread your name to perhaps a new place or to some new people. And with the Metal to the Masses and subsequently winning, doing Bloodstock, it's no longer one step. It's a giant fucking step, you know, it's a leap.
A giant leap for metal kind.
That's what I was building.
I thought you were going there. I was like, please.
Yeah, I was waiting for the opportune moment. So thanks for stealing that from me. Yeah. So you've everything that you normally do at a show, you would then have that 10 times over at Bloodstock, because let's be real, the Bloodstock show itself in attendance is about 10 times bigger than what at least we would have kind of regularly, you know, but perhaps there are 600 people in that tent. You know, it's a good night if we get 60 people out, especially if it's a new place where they perhaps don't know about us, and so many more people will hear your name and hear your songs, and it's just ecstatic.
We've had a fair few opportunities because of Bloodstock, and we're really grateful for them. So Alan, who does New Blood, invited us to headline the Dev as part of Retribution Alive, which we wouldn't have got without that. Obviously, playing Sheffield wouldn't have happened. It's the rubber seal, because it's not just the region. You get essentially the stamp. It's the Simon Hall stamp, and Simon Hall's name carries a lot. And if he's going to put you on his stage, or trust people to make that decision for him, it rubber seals anything else you do, because it puts every other promoter on notice that, right, they're good enough to play Bloodstock, I need to at least have a listen to them or at least keep an eye on them. And it also means that we have now obviously met people like yourself, Mosh, for other press people, that now we put something out in the summer, they're waiting for it because we've already
as well. I was just about to say that at the end of the day, guys, when it came to Bloodstock, you guys put the work in. You got through to the finals. You smashed that final. You played Bloodstock, and that tent when you did that performance was absolutely jam packed. Obviously the day before Bloodstock, yourself, James, came into one of my live Twitch channels, and that's how I kind of discovered yourselves. I promised you that I would be there, and I did. I stood at the front for the entire show with a grin from ear to ear, and I was like, "This is." So thank you very much, because if that didn't happen, I would never have known who Moonweaver was, and I got to discover an absolutely live band. Thank you very much for that.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time. I think it's important to us as like, if we don't try and reach out to fans and make the effort, why would people bother to listen to us? It's not as easy as, you don't just put things up anymore. You have to, you know, give a shit about the community back for them to care about you.
Yeah, man.
So we're really grateful, actually. We had friends walking around on site with a box. Was he wearing a sign? What was it? He
was wearing a cardboard sign with our logo on that he'd written himself in a Sharpie with the stage time and the stage on it, like a fucking walking advertisement for a small Bristol band you've never heard of, you know.
Did it work though?
Oh yeah,
oh, dude, that fucking crowd. I've never been so nervous in my life seeing the amount of people out there. And I'm thinking they're going to dissipate after the band before us. I'm thinking, oh, they know this band, right? And then nobody moves, and they're here to see us. So I'm just there like, oh shit, like absolutely nerds. But it was great. It was amazing, and yeah.
Well, I think any bands who might watch this back later on YouTube, I think they need to take note. Get yourself a friend with a cardboard cutout, Sharpie, write your stage time on, have yourselves a walk-in advertisement, because that to me is an absolutely fantastic idea.
100%. I would say do the work on site. 100%. So there's a band that I remember. They're called they're playing this year, Acid Age. They're coming back. They're playing the Sophie. They went round the site with CDs and they spoke to probably 1,000 people. I know they spoke to me. Honestly, the work you do it's like a networking event. The work you do on site, people will come and see you if you give it time. Now, we clash with Heaven Shall Burn. So if you're going to talk about a clash that's going to be like, we're fucked. Aside from the headliners, Heaven Shall Burn was not the band we wanted to clash with, right? Because you're going to go watch Heaven Shall Burn if you don't know who we are, right? So to actually be able to have, and I can't remember who was playing Sophie at the time, but it wasn't a nice one either. Like, Bloodstock's stacked for a reason, right? So you have to put the work in to try and at least bother with people. And yeah, if they're like get bored of who they're seeing, they might pop in and see you, and that's when they can discover you, and that's what can give you that massive push.
To be fair as well, a lot of people attend just for New Blood anyway, because a lot of those people, like you say, press like myself, some of them record labels, some of them band promoters, looking for the next big band. Who's gonna break through? Because we can't have Metallica, Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
you know, these bands aren't. God forbid when it happens, but these bands can't be around forever. We need, then who's going to be the next band to carry us through to the next generation?
Yeah. But definitely for on site, if you wanted advice for any band that's competing now who has got their slot at Bloodstock, all of these people have a schedule, and you need to take the time to contact them and just let them know what you're doing. If they want to see you that badly, they will schedule you in. So I know that you made time to come and see us, and you would have wanted to see a lot of things. A lot of other people like Alan made time coming out of VIP to walk it. All these things take time, right? They have to plan all of their days and stuff like that. It's just, we sent out, I think, 50 or 60 emails the month before Bloodstock, just reaching out. But it's not a case of just like a blank email for everyone. You have to research. You have to find out what these people do. You message on Facebook. You get to know them as human beings and go, I know what you do. I love what you do. Just to let you know, like I did when I chatted to you, we're going to be here. Now, I know you're going to be on Bloodstock enjoying yourself. That's fine, but we're here if you want to chat. You ever want to come and see us, we're here. Do you know what I mean? Because that is the time when the biggest crowd you could possibly play to is going to be in that field. Aside from if you go on to you hit the roof and going through bigger festivals, you're not going to play to a bigger crowd than you will in that tent. I can guarantee it. And if you are, then you shouldn't be entering the competition. You should be getting booked for your own anyway.
You absolutely smashed that day, lads. So
Thank you.
Absolutely smashed it. Well done to you guys. So moving on from Bloodstock, Morgan, when we chatted through Messenger, I was of the opinion that you give us the opinion that you are working on a new album, or new EP, sorry, a follow-on from Descent. So with Descent obviously establishing Moon Reaper's sound, will the new EP build upon that foundation or explore new territories?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. I would say really irritatingly, it's both.
It's both.
100%. It's
Right.
both. The foundations are the cosmic kind of themes that are running through Moon Reaper lyrically, you know, with the imagery, thematically, will always be there because that is the core, that is the essence of the sound. That's what gives it the flavors for me. But exploring new territories, certainly sonically, I would say it is a lot heavier. It is an EP. It's going to be 4 tracks, and we're like this close, dude. We are this close. We're in a matter of weeks. I won't say when because we actually haven't announced.
That's
But in
fair
a
enough.
matter of weeks, it will be out. And this is it's a big moment for us. We have put in, I mean, especially me. This has been going on for fucking like 4 years. These tracks got written during lockdown, some of them, and they've been perfected over time. But now everything that we've done, the past 4 years worth of work, coming to a head in the next 2 weeks, and that's very exciting. But as for the sound itself, I would say it's a lot heavier. It perhaps leans more into slightly higher tempos and tempo variants. So we've got very, very slow sections and very, very fast sections, as opposed to Descent, which is a little bit more steady on the kind of, you know, most things are fairly easygoing tempo wise. Then they're not really pushing anything too fast. But some people in the band, not saying names, love playing fast. They love fast riffs. They love fucking thrashy, chuggy death metal. Don't get me wrong. I like that stuff too. However, I have this. They've been corrupting this band for too long, my friend. We're no longer Doom anymore. It's too many other things.
Is one of them members currently in this interview with us?
No,
Beto, I'm not saying names.
I think he's trying to out you there, like James.
I think it's just in terms of the songs, because obviously I before I joined the band, I listened to Descent anyway. So like I think in terms of, just like I said earlier, it's this EP is more, you can see the influence from the other members of the band, especially with like Shirin and with like myself and with Aiden and Jai. But it's like, this is one where we've like, the songs are always going to come from Morgan and the eyes do come from Morgan, but we've just put the little bits of sprinkles in that gel it together. That like, so yeah, there are, exactly, it's the Salt Bay, like, so there is like introverted bass bits because Aiden likes to do over black, he likes to do a little or whatever, do you know what I mean? Like, and there are bits that Shirin really likes, like her breakdowns, so there have been bits that have been extended because like that works and it becomes an integral part of the song. And yeah, I do like my thrashy bits, but I also like just whacking a very basic hardcore beat as well. So it's refined, so it's what you'd expect. It's every bit that you expect from Descent, but turn up all the best bits to like 11 to the cliche. The breakdowns are going to hit you that much harder. And the sparser bits are going to transport you into a real ambience, only to then smack you again. Do you know what I mean? So it's the respite in between, just absolutely being crushed either side by
I was gonna bring up that it was the input of 5 people as opposed to Descent, which is mainly and primarily me. But now we have this tweaking process, which takes an annoyingly long amount of time, but it's worth it. And at the end, we do come out with these much better songs.
Are there any specific lyrical themes or concepts you're focusing on the new EP?
Ooh, what a loaded question. Beardo, you're banging them out today, my friend. You're banging them out. Lyrical concepts and themes.
Yep.
Well, I would begin by saying that we're exploring the realms of
Space.
You got it there, dude. You got
You
it there,
softness, damn.
right on the nose, right on the nose.
Sorry, go on.
Well, the descent being the process of being, let's say, absorbed by a black hole or spiraling into a black hole. We have now entered the black hole thematically, and we're discovering the fucked up shit that is happening within. And the title of the EP is Black Sun Sorcery, which is obviously emblematic of what's going on inside, essentially. And lyrically, there's a lot of cosmic entities that appear in the kind of they're manifesting with malevolent intent, and the lyrics are providing a description of these manifestations, and also the entities themselves. Stuff like we got a song called Astro Hypnosis, which is if you like, the process of hypnotism via the incredible things that you can witness. I don't want to give too much away, though. That's half the magic, isn't it?
It is. I suppose it is.
Part of it as well is, as you said, with the subject matter, is that we obviously, when we release the EP, I presume we'll put the lyrics out as well. Like at some point, it's something that you can draw so much from. Like, do you know what I mean? Like if I say just the word astro hypnosis to you, that's going to be like, you're going to either go research what that is, or you're going to form your own opinion of what you think that is. Do you know what I mean? So there's what we are going for, we're going from the describing what it actually is, but there's many levels that you can find throughout it, depending on how it identifies to you and what mood you're in when you listen to it, how it reflects what's going on in your life. And that is the beauty of lyrical interpretation, which is what we love.
Yeah. As well, I'm digging the concept of you've now entered the black hole sort of thing, which could could help a lot of people who focus or have issues with mental health, because the black hole inside the head, they've entered it. Do you put any of your own personal experiences in there?
Yeah, well, with the space stuff, I think everything's a metaphor, and you can, if the shoe fits, I'm sure that there is a number of mental health metaphors, that can be pulled from it, and the black hole perhaps is emblematic of perhaps depression or something like that. But I wouldn't say that I'm thinking about that necessarily. Perhaps my own kind of reasonable knowledge of astrophysics and astronomy is manifested my own depression in that way.
It's about identifying, isn't it, really? So two of the lyrics that spring to my mind in one of the songs is, we have a line that is a worshipper of ruin is one of the lines, which you can interpret any way you want. That can interpret your day-to-day life, that can interpret your internal struggle, and then a slave to the cataclysm, which again, so it's about creating a very real picture. So we're talking about the cataclysm. You're a slave to the fact that the cataclysm is going to happen, but what we love about it is that can identify in so many ways, and that again is giving our music that meaning to people, and that's why we hope that people identify with it so much, because they can add meaning into what we do, and we can share. I've had people certainly come up to me and say like, oh, like I've listened to this and I really like. I'm just there like, what do you mean this means all of this? I'm just like looking over at him across the room, just like, did you write all of this? And I'm just like, yeah, no, yeah, yeah. 100%.
It's less. I think it's less obvious. Like, what we were chatting about earlier about the whole. It's all about the metaphor, right? Because you can take so much from that, and it's so indirect that perhaps it will mean it's a bit more applicable in terms of meaning more to lots of different people in different situations than something as so simple as I have a black hole in my chest or something like that. That's very obvious, isn't it? So perhaps subtlety is key in this kind of thing, and cosmic metal itself is a bit of a. I do know a couple of bands who have drifted into the cosmic theme.
Scar Cemetery comes to my mind.
That's a great example.
Cosmic. I like that. He can't help himself, can he?
Scar Cemetery being one of my favorite bands, they dig into that whole bass type stuff, don't they? So yeah, man. I haven't even listened to this EP yet, and I can't wait for it. You know that. It's gonna. I like an album that's gonna make us think. And I feel like this is what it's gonna make us do. You know what I mean?
Nice.
That's what I like.
If you're interested in that kind of thing, Mare Cognitum have some great
Mare
stuff.
Cognitum.
Mare Cognitum, bit of a weird name. They did an album called Solar Paroxysm, and it's just right up my fucking street. It's
Nice.
cosmic blackened doom metal, and that's everything I love in metal, dude. It's everything.
Sounds fucking gnarly. I might check it out. Got that written down for later. Noted, thank you. So Descent had a strong track flow. How are you approaching the sequencing and overall structure of the new EP?
I would say purely based off the songs themselves. They're delivering a very similar message between the songs. The sound is obviously varying between songs, but the message is quite similar. So for us, it's just about ordering them in a way that flows well, like you were saying. So I would say it's fairly strong, and it's just been ordered in the way that what we believe, which the ending of the last song complements the beginning of the next song. So we've got into the habit of pairing up songs that go together quite well, especially in a live setting too.
We like listening to, a lot of us in the band like listening to albums in full. And one thing we generally agreed on when we listen to albums is we don't like albums that feel like you're just skipping through tracks or you're waiting for that particular thing. We want people to be able to, because me and Aidan and Jared are big vinyl heads, right? So we want to be able to feel that you can experience
Right there with you.
You can experience the whole EP as a symphony in itself, and then you have the individual tracks that also stand on their own right. But the EP is ordered in a way that we would play it live in that order. We sometimes mix it up, but it's preferably the first goes into the second, there's then a change into the third, and the third would usually then go into the fourth. Right. And that's how it works best for us. And we've done that in general with splitting the songs. So we've split, actually, if we were to do more in the future, which we plan to, this EP and this EP do flex with each other, but they're also their own separate things. So it's a lot of it is, and when I say we painstakingly go over set lists, like it's something that's very important to us. It's about the show as much as what we're playing. It has to be a flow. It has to be like an old school performance. Like you're going to see an entire show, not just the tracks within it. So same as with Bloodstock, we were very, very keen on making that half an hour work as much as we could. What are we saying? And if we're taking a break, are we saying anything important? If not, shut the fuck up and play the next song. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how our philosophy. So if we say something, we mean it. If not, it's into the next song, and just we're gonna change the vibe, or we're doing it very deliberately. So that's important to us, for sure.
Yeah, excellent. Collaborations can be inspiring. Are there going to be any guest vocalists, musicians, or producers you'd like to work with on the new EP? Or has there already been, since it's very close to release?
On this EP, no, they're not going to be anyone outside of the band, but it is something that certainly I'm interested in. Over the last year, we've made so many good friends, dude, and we played a lot of shows, and lots of talented people have come into our circle and come onto our radar. So I think it would be a fantastic idea to get someone, I would say a vocalist would be the most obvious to feature in one of our songs. And we've got these great passages where you've got 8 bars or so where they could really let their vocal style shine in one of those things. So nothing for this EP, but I'm very much keen to do that for the next release. So maybe we'll see.
The EP itself has been mastered and mixed by Winter Pryor, who's worked with members of Fleshguard, among others. So we were happy to work with him. He's really helped us refine the sounds. But in terms of actual track content, not on this EP. Although we are good friends of Harry Knott from Burner, so if he's listening, we're only one phone call away. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it should happen, but it should definitely happen.
If you need a triangle player, guys,
give
us a shout. I'll be there. Anything I can play.
Maybe I'll pick you up on the bus, on our band bus.
When we eventually get up to Newcastle, we'll just swing by and go on, get on, beer.
I'd do it. So, given that win at Bloodstock, is there any added pressure on the follow-up EP, and how are you managing those expectations?
I think we went into Bloodstock knowing that we wanted to basically do Bloodstock and then put something to record, because by the time we played Bloodstock, it would have been a fair amount of time since Descent had come out. So there is pressure because we spent the whole of Bloodstock saying this is what this is building up to, right? I think we've risen to the challenge. I honestly do believe that, and you have to back your own product, otherwise, what's there's no point in it. But I think it's just realistically, this could be the make or break for if this goes well. Who knows? Simon could be ringing us up, or whoever could be ringing us up, and we could be talking about August next year. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the difference for us. Like, if we can really nail this, we will be on everybody's lips, we will be on everyone's ears, and we will be busier, and that is exciting. So the pressure was to get it right, but with the budget that we had and with the times we had, we're not at the point where we can give up our whole days and weeks to do it. And we also didn't want to spend forever doing it, so we just fatigue and go, I fucking hate these songs now. They're just like, get them binned and whatever. So I think we've struck a good enough balance. But yeah, it is pressure, and it does put a strain on friendships, but it is a good experience and a learning curve, and you do grow as a band together because you learn each other's limitations and you learn how to get the best out of everybody.
You mentioned challenges briefly there. Was there any challenges writing this EP? And if so, how did you overcome them?
Writing the EP specifically?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure if we've gone over yet. The songs that are written in the room that I'm currently calling you from. So this space here, and then
the magic happens.
Exactly, the magic, spooky, mystical, cosmic room. That's the one. And then I'll bring them into a practice space, and I'll have sessions with the guys one-on-one, also, in this room, and we'll go over their parts, and then people start tweaking bits and bring in other ideas. So the writing itself, aside from being now streamlined as a process, takes a long time to get exactly what we wanted, and we fucked around with Necrochasm for years, like actual years, changing bits and bobs on it. I wouldn't say that it was a negative experience. The writing is the best bit for me, at least. I love it when we've made a song even better for like the 5th time. There's no greater feeling than nailing it in the rehearsal room, going, that is gonna fucking smack when it's out.
I think it's about learning about what each other wants, right? So obviously from a drummer's perspective, you might play me a riff and I might hear it totally differently. Now I've got to the point where actually me and Morgan have a very good understanding, and I know what it is he writes a riff for. But it can be frustrating to write a drum part and actually go, well, we don't think this quite works, or you go back or you write a solo bit, and I know Morgan's written bits and it just feels too long. It's hard as any musician because you want to feel that you're expressing what you want to do. But we've got to a point now where we really understand each other, and actually we also, more importantly, understand what works well for us as a band and what people come to see us to do, right? So we can develop, and we're recently going out and playing stuff we've written like 2 months ago, I think, and we played it yesterday in Sheffield, and it absolutely fucking killed every time we played it so far. So it was challenging, but as I said, positive experience overall.
So yes, so will you be dropping a single before the actual release of the EP? If so, when can we expect it?
We will be dropping a music video, so I don't know if that qualifies as a single. It won't be branded as a single.
We'll
release.
say a release. Are you going to drop a release before the EP comes out? To tease everybody of what's expected.
There will be.
They want that little taste, because once they get that taste, they want more, Morgan. You know what I mean? So
yeah, well, we've been debating this as well, because there are people in the band who believe that there should be no teasing, and it should be a single bam, here are all the songs that you need. Because not gonna lie, Steve, when I go on Apple Music or something and I find new release from End or whatever, and it's one song on the album, I'm like, well, what the fuck is that? Where are the rest of them? I want to listen to the whole shebang, not one nugget that I'm going to be drip fed pieces of the album bit by bit. I personally am against that. I'd rather just drop it all at once.
Fair enough.
And I think it works. but the video itself will be coming out before because we need to space out everything that we need to be pushing individually. But so very, very soon, like
Well,
very, very, very soon.
speaking for myself, I like to be. What can I say? I like a little preview of what's expected, because when I get that sample, when's the next one? I like first single or hit or release, and then the main album, like the climax.
I'd like to state for the audience that we are recording this before it's come out and before the videos come out. So if you're watching it after the videos come out, go and watch our fucking video. But if you're watching it before, then who knows when it's coming out?
This is like your behind the scenes. Please don't call because your vote will not be counted, but you may still be charged.
Link will be in description. Boys and girls and everyone watching in between. So yes, it will be in the description for everyone to go and check out, as well as, of course, all the band's social media accounts, emails if you want to maybe just go and book the band in your local area, get them onto some places that they may never played before. But yeah, so but before we do kind of call it, finally, what are your ultimate goals for Moonreaper?
Ooh, that's a good question, man. I think for me, there isn't one. I don't have a single goal that I've been aspiring to achieve, but I would say my perpetuating goal is just to do this as long as I can, as well as I can, and have as many of the do as many shows as I can, do as many releases. I don't think there's a particular like I need to do 5 albums or I need to play like I want to do main stage download, because I think that sets perhaps a expectation and puts pressure on yourself to go do something, and it might not even be that great ultimately when you do it. Sometimes it's not the right time. There's a multitude of factors, but I've never really desired anything like that particularly. Like I must do like 5 studio albums full length or
Right.
anything. And the industry is changing so much anyway that it would be difficult to put a
100%.
put a nail in
Yeah,
that.
100%.
So yeah, just to have a good time and do Moonreaper for as long as I can. Play some sick shows.
And what about yourself, James? Do you have a different?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would be lying if I said I didn't want to go back and play the Sophie or the main stage. Like, of course I do. Like, that's like the festival I grew up with, like the festival to be at. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I would be lying if I didn't want to say. I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to play Trees. I didn't want to play ATG. Do you know what I mean? I want to be able to play these major events. I want to be able to go and play Damnation. Do you know what I mean? Because I can tick these things off. I want to play local events. I want to come up and play with you guys in Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Get Heavy Fest.
yeah. For me, it's more a. I'm in my 30s, early 30s. You know what I mean? I'm slowly getting towards doing other things in my life. You know, and I want to be able to look back and go, I did these things, and I was there, and I was on the same bills of these bands, and I met these great people, and I went to these cities and played these things. You know, I'm yet to go and experience a festival in Europe. I think to do something like a Hellfest or a Brutal Assault or a Wacken would be amazing. I'm always going to want to see what's behind the curtain, right? As a punter, it's like you always want to see how these things happen behind the curtain, and the way to do it is to go as a performer. In terms of like recording, I just want to be able to share what I do, and that will happen when it happens. The industry's run on playing live. So in terms of like mainly though, if we can get back and be invited on our merit in terms of what we've done now to play back at Bloodstock, that's the goal for me, really, to be able to go back and go, actually we're being not only offered to play, but we're being, you know, whether it's compensated or whatever, do you know what I mean? But we are in the leagues of people like Embodiment, Skin Failure, Candlemass, these bands, you know, Gutalax, who were amazing, by the way. If you didn't see them,
Didn't see it, unfortunately.
Like, but to be Torture Demon, do you know what I mean? To be rubbing shoulders with these guys, that's the validation that personally I would revel, to enjoy it. Fetus playing a show with Dying Fetus. If I can be on the same bill as Dying Fetus, I will pack my bags and go. I am done. I have done everything I need to do in life, and I'm going to go retire on a beach, and you'll never see me again.
And that's when we get the drum machine.
That's when you get
the space bar.
Yeah.
Ordered.
Well, to be fair, Thingy from Dying Fetus practically is a space bar. Like, insane drummer. Morgan will just hire him, kick me off the bus and go, you come with me now. Come on, sit down.
Yeah, he's coming on the bus instead. He's having your seat.
Yes. Well, the driver's seat.
Oh, I drive too, man. I can go.
Right. Well, because of the type of band you guys are, and you've got a lot of stuff about space, I feel like this may fit you guys for a good question. So let's say you get invited to play on Mars for a colony of space moshers. What song would absolutely crush it on the red planet?
On the red planet, what is our most Martian song? Oh, dude, I've got to go with.
But you're teasing us now.
I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know if he's gonna pick one that we've recorded, or he's gonna into like the Moon Reaper off takes that are being written now, and he's gonna say a name, and you're gonna be like, "I've never heard of that," and he's gonna go, "You're not going to for another 2 years."
So there's this new song I've been working on. Okay, it's called. Nah, just kidding. I would go with Astro Hypnosis for sure. It's just got a bit of a rocky, kind of doomy vibe about it, and I think Mars has got that barren feel as well.
Beyond Obscurity for me. That's the one that's got a Slave to the Cataclysm, and it's or Overlord. Overlord. Because if we're playing on Mars because we fucking decided to go. Yeah, they're not invited. We're taking Mars over. So Overlord. I've just remembered that song.
We are playing Overlord to the Martians. We are Overlord.
I am your Overlord. Yes, indeed.
Speaking with Vulgar Dissection, they were trying to achieve a zero gravity wall of death. And Moon Reaper achieved this.
I think I'd prefer a sun gravity.
Is that sun gravity?
Everyone's just crushed into the ground instantly, obliterated.
A zero gravity wall of death.
Yeah.
With a big enough plane, I think would be possible. Alternatively, you just have to fly a bunch of meatheads into space and just get them knocking around, trying to coordinate themselves, and some kind of big wave or something. Two big waves.
Hang on, are you implying that metalheads are meatheads?
Well, they'd have to be meatheads to fly into space, to run, to float into another person for the sole reason of doing that.
It's just for the giggles, mate.
It's just zero gravity would suit hardcore dancers because then they wouldn't fucking come near you.
They just keep spinning, dude. They just keep on spinning.
It's like, no, go away.
One spin kick and they're just forever fucking going around.
I think this is an appropriate setting because I can tell you've got a red light in your room, Morgan. So have I. As well as it's getting dark, our red lights are starting to come and we're talking about the red planet. Yeah, let me down, James. Disgraceful.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's a reason for that. It's because I've summoned Mars in this room. That's what it is.
There we go.
Sorry for living in a well-lit house. I'll really try and work on that.
You've got a red hat. That'll do.
The Overlord will allow it.
Oh, guys, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. I'm looking forward to hearing the new EP. It sounds absolutely brilliant when it. That's what I mean. Like a tease, Morgan. And that's what you have done through the last hour, I will say. So, yeah, cannot wait to hear it. It's going to be brilliant. One last thing. Anything you wish to plug before we end it?
Yes, I wish to plug the video, which may or may not be out when this video is out. But if it is, just literally go and watch it. It's gonna rip your brain apart gracefully in space, but not gracefully at all. It's gonna be sick, dude. Like, honestly, go and watch it. for Beyond Obscurity, which was low key the title track of our EP Black Sun Sorcery. Excuse me. And yes, just come and say hi. Come and see us at a gig.
If
Come
you
and say hi.
want to
We're friendly. We're approachable people. Come
If-
and have a convo with us.
if you want to see us on the road, for local people that know us, we are playing June the
13th.
13th with Crypta at the Exchange. And for your locals, we're playing in Baron Furnace on June the 29th.
There we go. There
June
we
the
go.
29th, but at Funeral Fest.
Well, you see it local. It's not like it's around the corner for us.
It's Nerf. It's Nerf. Like, what do you want? It's Nerf.
We're also playing the Bristol Metal to the Masses final as a guest headliner. So for all you guys in the Southwest watching us right now, we will be there and we will be fucking raising hell that day. And if you want to come see us, make everyone else wait a bit longer to hear who the 2024 people are going to be from Bristol, then that's the place to be, man. And we'll be playing our EP in full for all of these shows, by the way.
And of course, not forgetting, Get Heavy Fest 2025, which I'm sure will
Every
I wonder who I'd have to speak to about
I don't the idea. Who runs that shit festival?
No idea.
Oh, brilliant, man. Thank you very much, guys. I really do appreciate your time hanging out with us, giving up your Sunday evening, considering you've just travelled back from Sheffield as well, which is even bigger love to you guys, man. I really do appreciate it. So,
Thank you, Steve.
so I end our interviews just like this. The rules of the pit are the rules for life. When someone falls, we pick them. Take care, everyone.